So come on in, take a sip, and let's wind down. We were in the Czech Republic on Sunday, and I found this bottle of Portuguese wine. It's called Lab, and this is a 2021. There was no way for me to indicate whether this was going to be a dry or a sweet. I didn't see anything written in Portuguese or German or Czech, for that matter, that would assist me in any way of knowing whether I was getting a dry wine or a sweet wine or a semi-sweet. As the Germans put it, trocken is dry, halb trocken is half dry, and then it keeps going down from there, and you got süß and lieblich and feinherb and all these different classifications. And I'm a dry wine lover, and so kind of a gamble, but not a very expensive one. I think it averaged about 11 euros, something like this, for this bottle. And I'd never seen it before here in Germany, but sure enough, in the Czech Republic, I found it there at the Hypermarkt, which is like a ginormous grocery store. Kind of akin to a Super Target, I think, without the clothing. If you're back in the States, otherwise a king-size Tesco if you're in the UK, right, or a Globus here in Germany, or a big Edeka. But on the nose, you definitely has that splash of that Portuguese sun, right? You can just see that, there's some boldness in this. Perhaps picking up some of the terroir, but otherwise it's very berry-centric. Lots of berries here. Fresh and sweet on the nose. It's tannic, it's dry. Little bit of that olfactory switcheroo going on because it does smell so sweet. It's got a lovely finish on it. It's a pale red. When I look at it in the white light, can definitely see right through there. I could tell the time on my watch if it was absolutely necessary. I've got this chilled to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which is perfect for almost all of my wines. My white's a little bit cooler, but this is just a fabulous, fabulous wine here. Yeah, and as usual, my seal of approval can be taken from my usual statement, which is probably going to finish that whole bottle tonight. So, that said, my name is Christopher. I'm delighted you're here to help us solve this grid today. Got fine wine, good company, and the dictionary.com word of the day is proprioception. Proprioception, which is like having an awareness of the position that your body is in. The first thing that comes to mind is when I'm doing yoga, and I feel like I'm in the perfect stance. Like it hurts just the right amount to tell me I'm in the right position. But if I were in a hot yoga class and I were in the same position, would the instructor feel compelled to tell me that I needed to do something different? So, proprioception. That's one of these good words, right? And I can think of all the creative ways we could use that as well. It dawned on me the other day, I'd said something and I thought it might be a good catchphrase for the channel and the community, in that not only am I delighted that you're here to help us get this puzzle solved the best we can together, I'm also proud to say that unlike so much these days, this is not AI generated, and none of this is scripted. None of it is rehearsed. It's just about as real as you can possibly get. It's me coming home from work every single day of the week and sitting down and knocking out the New York Times Crossword and then the Guardian Cryptic. So, yeah, we're real, right? There you go. That's a good reason to stick around. And if you haven't subscribed already, you can do that too. Put a ring on this other finger for me. Let's make a commitment. It's free after all, and I would really appreciate it very much. Let's hop into our grid and see what we've got today. So we got a Patti Varol construction. Seen her name so much. Edited by Will Shorts, Monday, August 4th. Let's hop on into this thing. Let's see what we got for our Monday. So letters on a radio switch. I'm just thinking maybe AM, FM off the top of my head. Carne asada. Grilled meat dish, and garment seen in Hindi cinema would be a sari. I am assuming. Very, very small fractions. Okay. How about millionths? That's not an easy one to enunciate. millionths. Home of the New York Mets until 2008, and that would be Shea Stadium. Smog could be a haze, and a favorite portmanteau of every meteorologist I've ever known. So let's get back up on in there, see what we've got now. Seed covering, I don't know, we talk about an owl maybe. Monastery resident could be a friar. Rotary phone feature. Yeah, you youngins don't know what these things are, but I had to wait and wait and wait for the thing to return. Every time you hit that button, you ring that dial back, and then you could do it again. There was really no hurrying it along, or you might actually wind up getting a wrong number out of it. It was weird. Let's see. And decluttering Maven Kondo, and I think that's Marie, and image from a drone. What do you think? Maybe an aerial photo? One of our community members on TikTok left a message saying, how does one acquire this level of knowledge? And I think I've got the answer. Go to school forever, and then when you stop going to school, go back to school, continue to go to school, and when you're finally finished with that next master's degree that you just gotta have, and you finish your doctoral programs and everything's done, then spend all your time studying something that you don't know. In other words, you gotta really be a total dork, just a total word nerd, a total history nerd. You gotta just love having general knowledge, right? It's one of those things you constantly have to want to be learning. That's my secret. I'm sure there are other ways to get there, but that's what I do. So just thought I'd share with everybody, right? Not just on TikTok. So scrambled word. Gosh, yes, an anagram. I love them. I really do. And I was never really allowed to play Wheel of Fortune with my family, especially my grandparents, because it was no fun for them. Wasn't even necessarily anagram stuff, right? But it's like spotting the words in those grids, right? That could be, putting two to two together, a little context cluing. It's fun stuff. It's like going to France for the summer, eating some cheese and some vino. That's not bad, huh? In working order, And ¿cómo está usted? Why are we being so formal today? Dude, TV room is a den. Okay, good. I'm glad it was actually usted. Maybe musician Brian Eno. Did not know he had an asteroid named after him. And so what I will promptly do after this grid is, I will then do the Guardian Cryptic. But after that, I will be looking up which asteroid got named for Brian Eno, right? The king of ambient music. That's what we do. But mitzvah reading, this is a trick question. It's also good for the bar mitzvah as well. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, the Torah. And musical counterparts of flats could be sharps. Bills with George Washington's face could be ones. And in working order, looks like it's going to be usable. And that's kind of fun. In the Army, we called it serviceable. It was a serviceable item, piece of equipment. Serviceable means it could be used in service. So, garment from Playtex or maiden form. So we've got bras in here today. Yankee slugger who hit a record-setting 62 home runs in 2022. Aaron Judge. And we've got musical genre from Tokyo. I've been starting to get into the J-pop a little bit. Kind of enjoying it. It's been filtering its way into my rando music selections on Spotify, and I'm liking it. Small dish served in Spain. Seems kind of alone without its S to create the tapas, but we can have a tapa. It's not going to fill you up. So, RPM indicator could be your tack. And other in Spanish, there's some variations, but let's just go with the A, otra. We got quite a bit of Spanish going on in here today. It's kind of a beautiful thing. We had carne asada, donde está usted, and now we've got tapas in there, and otra, very nice. That could be an A, it could be an E or an O too, depending. Path of a baseball pop-up could be an arc. it's kind of interesting when you're also constructing grids. You know, if you're constructing an earlier day of the week, then it would be like the path of a baseball pop fly or something, right? You know, if it's on a Saturday, you know, then it'd be something like, you know, a hero storyline, you know, a tragic heroes, you know, storyline. The clue has to get much more complex, and we'll see. So here, excuse me, any port in a storm, and I'm just fighting the throes of these allergies. I mean, they're not going to go out with a whisper. They're going to go out not with a whimper or whispering to me. No, they're going to make me cough and gag until it's finally over here in a couple of weeks. But that's why we have wine, and wine is good for that. Star Wars saga heroine would be Rey. In the neighborhood could be near. Getting warmer, colder. Black and white cookie, an Oreo. Outlet from the heart's left ventricle. So I'm going to say the aortic. We got 5 letters. Let's go with a valve. And successful dash to the end zone in brief. I did TD, T down, TD run. I don't know what it's going to be. EPA banned pesticide. I think that could be DDT. Enigma could be a riddle, which is still how I describe the Guardian Cryptic. Enigmatic, circuitous, obtuse, serpentine, abstruse, and a riddle. And I love it. I absolutely love that grid. Groups of 8 musicians could be octets. So what do we got here now? Poet with the essay collection Sister Outsider. That will come to me. Fall Behind could be lag. I think her last name is Lord. So that might give us a TD run. I'm going to need to remember the first name of our poet, though. Beethoven's Ode de Joy. Trait transmitters, genes, grown up, adult. Okay, so is it Aubrey? Audra? I cannot remember for the life of me. Hang around for Amo, Amas, Amat. From further in the past, probably older. You know, this is not a typical Monday fare. This feels a lot like a Wednesday to me. Let me know how you feel about that. I always just like to know. 4 years as a U.S. president. 4 years for a U.S. president. Be a term. And let's see. Transit option to New York City's Roosevelt Island. And I guess we're talking a tram. So I think this is Audre Lorde. Hang around for could be a wait. Yeah, this is not your typical Monday stuff, is it? Jumping off point for an inventor could be an idea. And Harold and Maude, 1972 black comedy. Accra's country, we're talking Ghana. Mary could be gay. Opposite of nope. Yeah. What was a line from Pearl Harbor? Yeah. Boy, I'm a commissioned officer. You know, you can stand at attention when you're talking to like, oh, yeah, I got off 7 inches. And be like, wow, you're a first lieutenant. Don't be such a jerk. Hell, wait till you're a captain for that or something. Yeah, really. Go quickly, quaintly could be too high. And speaking of the Army, hi, ho, something on the go. I don't know, the Army song. Actress De Armas would be Anna. Keep dreaming ain't gonna happen. And I think we all know what that's referencing. Something to do with something we know is being referenced there. Prefix with cycle or code. How about uni? Desert plants could be cacti. Cacti, spell it right. Christopher. When Hamlet duels with Laertes in Hamlet. Okay, so maybe Act 5. and college military program, ROTC. If I had known I was going to be joining the Army following the terror attacks of 9/11 and having to go through both basic training and officer candidate school back to back, I would have done ROTC in undergraduate. I just would have. I didn't. I had to do it the hard way. Wool producing ranch. I guess we're talking about alpaca farm, maybe. One of 26 approximately in a marathon. Oh yeah, each one of them. I could feel each one of them. I am a bit of a marathoner myself, and I can tell you right now, it's been a while since I've run one, but yeah, you've got to just train to where you can get to a comfortable 14, 16 miles, and then from there, you're pretty much ready. Because from there, you're going to have to pull it out of you no matter what, right? I mean, it's going to be you clocking in those extra 8 miles to get it done, Oh, yeah, 26.2. Get an F could be to fail. Skip over as the I in family, maybe elide. Pest control brand could be Raid. Maybe a prayer vigil. And home services app that lists local vendors could be Angie. And we have Hawaiian porch here, but it's nice. Short lines at the register be UPC. Now, 35 across, man. This is probably a humdinger, right? Got a Lulu here. Oh, it's a doozy. All right. Permit, let. Very nice. Fun stuff. Fun grid, though. Indian tourist city on the Taj Express route. I'm probably thinking Agra. Skyfall singer could be Adele. And metal from a mine could be ore. I feel like today's the day, if there ever is going to be one, where I'm going to have fat-fingered something and I'm not going to have noticed it, so be ready. H2O in Mexico would be agua. And wow, we do have a lot of Spanish in this one. This is wonderful. Emphatic rejection. Oh, God, no. If you're from the United Kingdom, you have to admit that's a pretty good received pronunciation for a Yank. God, no. God, no. Meet the press group. How about a panel? And Slugger Maris. And we got a Roger here. Like a grade of B+, say. I don't know. How about good? And how do we do, Bob? Good. I feel like that was by the hair of my chinny chin chin. I felt like if there was ever a day that I was going to miss something that I had done wrongly, that was going to be the day. It was going to be the day, because it would happen on a Monday, of course, right? This was not Monday material. It certainly passes for a Monday. It worked itself out, but if you are a beginning solver, if you're just kind of getting into this habit, if you will, this lifestyle, I don't know, more of a habit, really. I think this may not be the best day unless it just happens to be made for you. And if that's the case, like if it just clicked, then awesome. Take that feeling of accomplishment and run and do more. Start doing Wednesdays and stuff. This is a really good grid. It was super clever. I didn't see anything in here that I would label as inelegant at all whatsoever. I thought it was all just beautifully done. It was a fantastic grid. One of my mentors when I started solving was just a friend, a family friend, a fellow artist, who was in his 50s and former Air Force officer during Vietnam, and he really helped me through a lot of the grid work. And then when I got into the Army post 9/11, I couldn't just reach out to him all the time. I spent a lot of time in Iraq, and so I would reach out to the website Rex Parker. Rex Parker solves the New York Times Crossword, and I would just send notes. Believe it or not, Dr. Sharp, he's a professor of medieval literature, I think. It's his site, and he's also like the 13th fastest solver on the planet. He like wins awards and stuff, right? He's just super smart. But he would answer my questions. He just kind of helped me along, right? And his site's still there, and it still does amazing things. So it's always, it stays. It's a perennial. It's an eternal fixture in the description below. But if you ever want to check out Rex Parker's website. It's just a lot of fun. He is really, really very critical, but in a very good way, of everything, of every grid construction out there. He's a veritable expert on. And so what he would find inelegant here, I maybe just would not, you know. So to get another perspective on that, you might want to check out Rex for that. But again, I cannot say enough good things about Dr. Michael Sharp. He's a great professor. He's a great crossworder, and his website, Rex Parker, is the bomb. So that said, this was just a fantastic grid all the way around. I thought it was very clever and just beautifully constructed. And so, brava, Patti, Varol, brava. And let's go ahead and bring down our bandolier adieu, and we'll just call class for the day. It has been a real pleasure as always, and until we see you again, you know, be nice to strangers, right? Especially the people behind you in line, right? You know, if it's a family of 30, then maybe you don't want to, you know, pick up the tab. But if it's a couple of folks, I mean, if you're a billionaire, yeah, buy everybody's food, right? It's just cool. But otherwise, you know, maybe somebody's leaving a little change or something like that, just doing whatever and kind of paying it forward, especially right now when everything just seems so, yeah, you know what I mean? Kindness would go a long way. So until we see you tomorrow, just be safe, be happy out there. And ich wünsche Ihnen einen schönen Tag noch. Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss, Servus, Grüß Gott, ciao, Cin-Cin, bis dann, bis morgen, bis später. Be well. Cheers.